"Excuse me, I think you're in my seat." That's how it started, just 7 words that would spiral into something she could have never imagined. It was raining hard outside the JFK airport that evening. The kind of relentless rain that made people wish they were anywhere else. The kind of weather that matched her mood, drenched, foggy, and quietly desperate. Emily Hayes, 29, clutching her crumpled boarding pass in one hand and her coffee-stained tote in the other, glanced up at the man standing beside her. His voice was calm but firm. Tailored navy suit, polished shoes, a watch she'd only seen in magazines. "Oh, I'm sorry," Emily stammered, her cheeks flushing as she fumbled for her ticket. "I thought this was 14A. It's 12A, he replied, offering a small smile. "But it's okay. You're welcome to stay. I'll just take yours." No, it's my mistake. I'll move." He stopped her as she tried to stand, his hand gently on her arm, not in a controlling way, just human. "Warm. You look like you've had a long day. Please, stay." Emily hesitated, heart pounding for reasons she couldn't explain, then slowly eased back into the seat. She didn't know that in the next 4 hours, her life would change. Emily was a freelance graphic designer, burned out, heartbroken, and broke. She was flying home to Seattle from New York, a city she once dreamed would save her. Instead, it had swallowed her. 2 days ago, she had been fired from her part-time job at a small agency that barely paid her rent. 1 week ago, she'd walked in on her boyfriend of 4 years kissing someone else in their shared apartment. Everything hurt, everything was uncertain, so when she boarded that plane, all she wanted was sleep. Silence, escape, but the man beside her, Noah Whitaker, had other plans. "You're an artist?" he asked casually, nodding at the sketchpad peeking out of her tote. "Designer," she said, a bit guarded. "Freelance," she nodded. "You look like someone who's been told, no, a lot but keeps going anyway." His words were strange, direct, but not in a rude way. In a knows-too-much way. "You always talk to strangers like this?" she asked, trying to smile. "Only the ones who accidentally sit in my seat." They both chuckled. A little ice melted. Over the next hour, Emily learned that Noah was the CEO of a global design and tech firm, a household name. Not that he bragged. In fact, he never mentioned the company by name. He asked her about her art, her favorite projects, the clients who drained her, the few who inspired her. She spoke more in that one plane ride than she had in weeks. "You know what the problem with most creative people is," he said softly as the cabin lights dimmed. "They have the magic, but they live in fear. Of rejection, of failure, of being seen, so they settle." Emily looked at him, caught off guard. "And what about you? Did you ever live in fear?" He paused. "Every day, still do, but I got tired of asking for permission to be great." Something in her chest cracked open. Somewhere over Ohio, turbulence shook the plane, and her thoughts. She excused herself to the restroom, splashed water on her face, and stared at her reflection. Why does this stranger see me more clearly than anyone in my life ever has? Back at her seat, she found him asleep, head tilted, arms crossed. He looked peaceful, and for the first time in weeks, she didn't feel completely alone. When they landed, he stood, grabbed his bag, and handed her a simple black card. "Noah Whitaker, founder, NYSF Tokyo. Email me," he said. "Show me your portfolio, or don't. That's your choice, but I think you're meant for more than you're allowing." She opened her mouth to respond, but he was gone. Back in Seattle, life resumed. Hard, unforgiving. She considered throwing the card away 100 times. She cried, slept, applied to jobs, cried again. Weeks passed, but the conversation haunted her. His words rang louder each day. Then one night, fueled by wine, heartbreak, and something she couldn't name, she emailed him. Just 3 words. "You were right." The reply came an hour later. "Glad you're ready. Let's talk." The next months felt like a dream. Noah brought her on as a junior creative consultant at his firm, not a favor, but a challenge. She worked harder than ever, surrounded by minds that inspired her. She failed sometimes, but she grew, and slowly, she found pieces of herself she had long buried. Noah didn't hover, he didn't coddle, but he checked in, offered guidance, held her accountable. He saw her, not as a project, not as a charity case, but as a mirror of who he used to be. 1 year later, Emily walked into a packed conference room in San Francisco. She was the lead designer on a major campaign. She stood before CEOs, investors, and creatives with trembling hands and a full heart. She crushed it. Afterward, as the crowd buzzed with praise, Noah pulled her aside. "Remember when you sat in the wrong seat?" he asked. She laughed. "Yeah, I almost cried. I was actually interviewing someone else for that project. She was supposed to sit beside me." Emily blinked. "What? Fate," he said with a shrug. "It's rarely polite, but always right." 3 years later, Emily launched her own creative agency. Noah was her first investor. She hired people who had been overlooked, underappreciated, just like she was once. She mentored young designers, taught them not just to create, but to believe. At the company's grand opening, someone asked her how she started. She smiled. "I sat in the wrong seat on a plane." And maybe that's the message. Sometimes life reroutes you in the most inconvenient, humiliating, unexpected ways. You lose your place, your job, your love, your direction. But maybe the wrong seat is exactly where you're meant to be. Because sometimes, that seat holds the person who sees the best in you, long before you do. And sometimes, the stranger beside you becomes the door you were always meant to walk through. Never underestimate a seat, a moment, or a mistake. They might just be the beginning of everything.